Welcome back to the Krabby Club podcast. My name is Red Victory, and today we're going to be talking about the movie that recently came out a few days ago for me. I took a while to record this, but it didn't really matter because it's episode 8, and by the time this comes out, the movie's going to be a few weeks old. So I'm talking about the movie Scoob, and yeah, I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan. Of course, I haven't seen every season. I've seen most of What's New Scooby-Doo, a little bit of the original, the 13 Ghost, a few of the movies here and there. My favorite, of course, is Zombie Island. I haven't seen the Return to Zombie Island yet, and a few other ones. The summer camp one had good music. There's been a lot. I love it, and I grew up a lot with a lot of that. Originally, when we were in Oregon, I grew up with a lot of really kid-oriented shows. Like, if anyone remembers the show, I doubt anyone remembers, I Spy. It was about a character with a tennis ball for a head, and I forgot what his dog was made of, but they would be looking for items around the world of the I Spy books. And I loved how the set was designed. I loved the entire thing. But there was also other shows and everything, and eventually Boomerang came on, and it was given to us for 30 days for free. I didn't know that. It was a trial to see how the people would enjoy the show, and if they didn't bother, they would just remove it, unless you called in. It's like, hey, we want to keep it, so they keep the show. So we had two options. Originally, they gave us Boomerang, 30 days. We eventually kept that, but then Disney, Toon Disney came on with Jetix and Power Rangers, all that. Digimon, of course, one of my favorites, and I ended up sticking with that one instead. But by the time I was with Boomerang, I saw a lot of amazing shows, a lot of, some of them I don't remember a lot. I remember watching Johnny Quest, a lot of that robot, the giant monkey, the caveman, and a lot of different Hanna-Barbera shows that were originally during that time. And a lot of them were, some of them were a lot of copy and paste from the original, Scooby-Doo, like the one with the talking car, Speedy or Speedo, or I forgot the car's name, and then the one with the talking shark in a band with kids, practically the same formula, but hey, and then all the other shows, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved all the shows. Of course, Scooby-Doo was my favorite because of the talking dog. I always wanted a talking dog, but that can't happen unless you're on drugs, and I don't do drugs, kids. So yeah, and I enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite things. And when this movie came out, because I saw the original with the live actions, and they were good, they were decent, but it didn't feel I mean, of course Scooby isn't real. He was animated in the show. You could totally tell it was fake, but he didn't feel real. Like, the characters interacted with the dog, but it still felt fake. Like, and then the movie had a lot of iffy things to it, and it was decent. I mean, I loved the tree house on was it the second one? Yeah, the second one. I loved the house part, and it was great. And the character actors were really good. Of course, the one that played Shaggy, I forgot his name, sorry. I had his name in my head a minute ago. I follow him on Twitter. He's very hilarious, but I completely forgot. Eventually, he became the voice of Shaggy. I'm kind of sad that he wasn't the voice of Shaggy in this one, but hey, at least we got a movie. Like, it's better than not getting one. And I loved my favorite part of the movie, even though the story was great. I mean, there was a few issues, but not really any that I really care about. I haven't seen any of the reviews for it. When this comes out in Blu-ray, I'm totally gonna buy it on Blu-ray. I only buy movies if I really enjoy, if I'm gonna watch it more than once. And I did. And Blue Falcon not being the original, being his son. I don't know if that was a thing that happened in the original, but I loved it. I loved it, and how the son was. That usually happens, the son isn't always like the father, who is a great hero. It's kind of like Superman and his son in the newest comics. I don't know if the comics have rebooted or anything. Haven't kept up since the end of Dark Metal. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on, and I loved it. I love how I'm going to say that a lot, but my favorite part is the ending cutscenes, credits, and all the little nods to every other character that was in the Hanna-Barbera show. Like in the, I forgot his name. I'm just gonna call him Captain Caveman, because I think his name was Captain something, but I don't remember his entire name. And then the arcade cabinet with the Kung Fu, I forgot, is Kung Fu Pao? It's the karate dog, and it had a pretty catchy intro. Was it Kung Fung Fui? Something like that, I forgot. But I loved it. I love the little nods to those characters and everything. Because when I moved here, and we finally got cable, usually the things I love Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is one of my favorite things. My parents bought me, for when I was in kinder, they bought me a Tom and Jerry DVD, and eventually got scratched, and my friend found one, and he allowed me to buy it, and I bought it at Goodwill. It was practically not in great condition of the outside, but the disc was great. So that's what I loved. I bought it, and I love Tom and Jerry. It's one of my favorite things. And of course, Scooby-Doo and all that stuff. I still need a Scooby-Doo plush or something related to Scooby-Doo. I know I have some, but I don't know where, and I don't think they're in this state anymore. So, or in this house. And I love the little nods to the other characters. Of course, there's a lot of things I've probably missed, and I'm surprised I haven't been spammed by like top things you missed in the movie, or 10 top Easter eggs in this, and then the credits was one of my favorite parts, with all the characters and all the little nods to other franchises that were there. Johnny Quest, when they were, I forgot the other one, but I forgot, but they had a giant robot, I think it was Frankie, a giant robot hero, kind of like some really old giant superhero, Superman robot from Japan. And I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I panned over to the left, and then I saw the screen. I was like, oh, that's the maid from the Jetsons. That's the robot maid. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. And I loved it. And then when they showed the other character, of course they missed a few. Of course, the main villain and his dog. I was like, I've seen him before, but where? I was like, who is he? And then they finally reveal his dog. I was like, oh my god, it's that guy. It's that guy. I seen his TV show. I don't remember all the characters' names, mostly because my memory's just bad in general, and recalling names is usually really bad when it comes to anything TV. I can barely remember people's names in real life, so remembering a TV, unless it's like my favorite things, like amazing things, like my favorite actors is like Jackie Chan, Tom Hanks, and a few others. And cartoon characters, Tom, Jerry, of course, Fred, Velma, Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby, and Scrappy. I enjoy Scrappy. Scrappy is actually one of my favorites. And of course, he's a dog. Why would you hate him? Like, I mean, he's not the greatest character, but he's he's good. And I love all those little nods. I love the music. I loved even though the story had a beginning, but also set into the future. We didn't start with like how Cartoon Network had Scooby-Doo Begins, how everything started like that. We started from the start, from because the thing is, anyone that knows, we've seen them as little kids. That was one thing back in the day where uh, uh, characters we knew and loved, like one of my other ones is the Looney Tunes. I love Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, what's his name, the giant hair monster. And my favorite TV show when it comes to that is the Looney Tunes show. I loved it, especially when Daffy becomes a Marines. Was it Marines or Black Seals, or whatever they're called, Seals. That was one of my favorite shows, and they had it where they turned the characters into small little kids, like they did with the Muppet Babies, Looney Tunes. They made the small little Looney Tune ones, and then they made Looney Tunes characters nephews, and other stuff. And I enjoyed that aspect. It was great and not too bad. Of course, Scooby-Doo did have that, and they created the Scooby-Doo Kids. I forgot what it was actually called. I saw a little, probably like 3 episodes, 5 max, as a smaller kid, back when it was reruns, but I didn't see that much of it. I just knew they had a small kids one, and I love how they implemented that, and not like, oh, they were just like they were already freshmen or sophomores, who knows what, in high school when they met up with the gang. I was like, that's a better, because usually a jock, a hippie, a nerd, and the popular girl will not usually become friends. It's usually an anime thing or a TV sitcom thing. Usually it never happens. So for it to happen from the very beginning, and to cause them to become friends from this, then that's pretty cool. Like, they're not into the, the way they're acting or how they are, you can already tell like what kind of people they'll grow into. Like Fred seemed a bit taller, a little bit more confident as his younger self in the movie, so you expected him to grow into a respected person like that. And also, I kind of like the whole part where they stop by the police. Oh yeah, spoilers, I forgot to mention that. By the police officer, and Fred is just like, I'm in love. And then you just find out it's actually the villain. I was like, oh, I feel weird. I was like, yeah, that was pretty funny. I thought that was hilarious. I enjoyed it. I didn't have a single moment in the movie where I did see some things coming. It's not an original concept. I mean, some things we've seen in other ones done differently, but done. Like, oh, like this happens, he's getting more attention, he's not important. We've seen it happen, and then they separate, they come back together, they fight the big baddie, and everything ends in a well-no. And I've seen that before. And actually, in the one thing I thought, I was like, do not tell me Shaggy's a descendant of Alexander the Great, because woo! And and they go into the whole thing. Imagine if it was, and they go into like even in afterlife and rebirth. Of course, I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about it. It's not important. Even in rebirth, they are the best of friends, and they will always find each other every time. That would have been pretty cool, like they've been friends from the very beginning. Now, if they extended it where like, and then his companions, and they were like descendants of the other 3, I would be like, okay, that's stretching it. But what do you expect from the Scooby-Doo franchise? I'm like, but I'm glad they didn't go into that, and it was only Scooby, because it's more, when it comes to animals, it's, of course, if they haven't gotten extinct, or usually it's more believable than humans, like and then we don't know anything about Shaggy's descendants, just being like, so it's better than not going into that path. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything, like, and then I liked it how they only showed a few villains, and also the when they were running in the beginning of the movie, and they were showing all the most popular monsters that they had from the original to reboot and all that. All their monsters, the iconic one, like the robot one in the what was it? The amusement park and other stuff. That was great. I love that. I love that scene. It was amazing. I thought it was great. And then I love how in the beginning, like, hey, it's just gonna be they were gonna show a few fake monsters in here, and then they don't go into another fake monster, big villain, whole thing. They actually go into an actual real bad villain and an actual real life monster that was Cerberus. And I thought that was great. Like, because we've seen it. We've seen, now, we don't know which series are canon, which series are not. So, I'm guessing the original is canon. Kids is canon, because there were kids in the first scene, and how they met and everything. So I'm guessing that's canon. Yeah, a little. I don't know. I haven't seen the whole entire thing, so they didn't show that much. But I enjoyed the amount they showed. Not too much, not too little. And his name was, how he gained his name was pretty funny, pretty stupid. But hey, I mean, we got a name. So, I can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, I don't really recall. I had a good time throughout the entire movie. And usually I go with a blank slate. Like, I'm not going to worry about this or whatever other people say. If I'm going to enjoy the movie. It's kind of like how I still enjoyed 2014 Godzilla. I enjoyed King of the Monsters. I enjoyed Kong Skull Island. I enjoyed all those movies. I enjoyed all of them. So, usually, I don't really like saying anything bad about a movie, especially a movie I really enjoyed, like Scoob. So, if you want to get your own opinion, just go watch the movie. I mean, it's released all over the internet. Just go watch it, whatever platform you watch it, and watch it as a family, watch it by yourself, and have a great time. I thought it was a great movie. I thought anyone could have a great time with it, and it's a great family movie, and awesome. And yeah, that's mostly it that I have. And I probably screwed up with a lot of things, but thank you all for listening to the Krabby Club podcast. Please leave a follow and follow us on Anchor or wherever you're listening this to. And yeah, make sure to check out the next episode. I don't know what it's going to be about, but hey, make sure to check it out next Monday. And that's all for now. Thank you all for listening to the Krabby Club podcast, and until next time.